and they get to the wind and I heard God, and they go run out, and then they go teach something that God never told them to, because the fullness of the revelation, right, which we read in 1 Kings 19, which is actually God's revelation to Elijah, is the title of this passage. So they'll get up and run off after they have that encounter with the wind, and they go say something that God didn't give the fullness before he gave instruction. And so in what we just read, you see that he gave Elijah instruction. Elijah was positioned to hear God after experiences which were all God, right? And they're all very prophetic in itself about what each represents. But nonetheless, after Elijah heard his still small voice, he then positioned himself at the entrance of the cave, and then dialogue started happening between him and the Father. So he didn't just hear his voice, but then now he took it to the next level where he was actually having a whole conversation with the Father. And then the Father ended up giving him instructions about what to do. And so this is how revelation and communication with the Lord happens. And a lot of his children get caught up in the layers of it instead of waiting for the totality of what God is trying to say or reveal to them. And there is a beautiful sister in Christ. I have her blog on my website for those who just want to hear insights from the Lord and the ways that she presents and how God has called her for her ministry. But there's a beautiful article that she wrote on her blog in regards to hearing God. And there is one point that I want to stress, because this ties into the insight the Lord gave me, and that's sometimes when you're talking to God and you're wanting to make sure you understand his voice and his will over things, you may ask God, can I go outside and wear no pants? God will say yes. And you would think, oh, he said yes, I can do it. But can you and should you are two different formats of which you will present something to God. So then if you go to God and you say, Lord, should I go outside with no pants? He will then respond and say, absolutely not. Your body is a temple. You don't try me. Don't you dare do it. So it's difference between, can I do something? Because there is permissible will. There's also free will, right? There's so many things with will that God won't infringe upon, but should you do it, right? And so in the same way, we should be understanding communication with the Father. In similarity to this example is that when God reveals something to you, or he's giving you revelation, and you don't wait for him to give that fulfillment of it or that explanation. So let's say you get at the earthquake part of the experience of getting ready to hear God, and you just, I heard God, I got the insight. Now I'm going to base it on my own understanding, and I want to use my discernment that I have based off of what I kind of have a layer of, and I'm going to just go run out and do that. That's absolutely wrong, and you can actually put yourself in some condemnation territory, because now you're stepping out, especially if you're trying to put yourself in the role of a teacher. Like, it's one thing to be excited, and it's another thing to put yourself and actively pursue a platform based off of experiences of God and not dialogue, right? You're on the right track. You're just putting the cart before the horse. And so what the Lord was